always been and always will be a very progressive religion. From its birth, Sikhi was one of the first major world religions to state that women were equal to men in every way, not in just one way, in every way. There's no differentiation in the soul. Both men and women could attain salvation. Before, only men were allowed. Only men were allowed to sit in congregations, participate in the discussion of God. There is also no differentiation in names. Women and men can have the same name. There can be a male Harpreet and a female Harpreet, and it all means the same thing. Women also have hereditary rights. They can inherit property from their parents, and that's okay. You don't need to be a male to inherit property.
Oh yeah.
Women can participate in all religious, cultural, social, and secular activities. This means leading congregations, doing kirtan, serving in langar, and most importantly, sitting in the Sangha. From the beginning, Guru Nanak Dev Ji permitted women to participate in the congregation. They were allowed to sit in Sangat with men to hear the message of God. They weren't deemed inferior in any way. This was very progressive for the time period, especially in a country such as India, where women don't get the same rights. They're not superior enough to hear the message of God until Sikhi came around. The first Sikh was Bibi Nanki. She was a woman. And education. Sikhi was one of the first religions to promote education all over, for every person, not male, not female, but every person was encouraged to go to school to learn. It was their right to learn. Sikh, the word Sikh means to learn. Everyone is a Sikh. You're learning every single day. Guru Amar Das Ji did many important things to help women progress. First of all, sati, this custom that widows had to be burned at the funeral pyre of their husbands. This was banned. This was a very regularly practiced custom in India at the time. After your husband died, you no longer had a life, which is completely false. It's untrue. And he gave women the chance to remarry, to live on, to devote their life to a higher means. Female infanticide. This means the killing of baby girls just because they're females. Everyone apparently wants to have a son, and if they had a girl, they were like, nope, she's not good enough, we're going to get rid of her. Amar Das Ji put an end to this. This still goes on in many South Asian communities. It's a big problem that our community faces, and he was the first one to tackle it hundreds of years ago. The veil, or the parda. This was the mandatory veil that women used to wear, and he said that they no longer needed to do that. If men didn't need to cover their face, why should women cover their faces? Then the manji and piri system. This was very important in that it allowed women to have an active and authoritative role in spreading Sikhi. Guru Amar Das Ji also sent out Sikh missionaries, women to preach Sikhi, to teach people all over the world. These were the first women missionaries in Sikhi. Over the years, Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji designated women to be the conscience of men. They had a higher morality, higher soul, which means they were closer to salvation, even than men in some cases. And then Guru Gobind Singh Ji designated the daughter of the Khalsa to have equal rights in the Amrit ceremony, in the initiation ceremony. Men were given the name of Singh, which means lion. Women were given the name of Gaur, which is lioness. Women didn't have to take their husband's name after they got married. They would always remain daughter of the Khalsa, and they could keep that name as for the rest of their lives. This was a very important step. Women were regarded equal, the same. If a man could be Khalsa, so could a woman. There was no differentiation. Here are some notable women in Sikhi. You have political figures. You have warriors, spiritual mothers, military masterminds, rebel queens, suffragettes fighting for women's equality from the 1800s. Women were strong, they were leaders, and this was an amazing thing that Sikhi enabled them to do. So what happened? What happened to that? They were considered amazing warriors. They were considered queens and strong leaders. They were looked up to. They made their own decisions. Current sentiments. She's just a girl. Why does she need to go to school? Right? People say these things today, in 2018, these things get said. They abort babies for being girls. They call them, oh, a woman is compared to a rock. What can we do to change this? What can we do? Women were given divine rights to education. Divine rights to be equal from God. So how can men and women take that away from them? How can society take that away from them? Women have every right to do all of the same things as our male counterparts. It's important for them to be educated. It's important for them to lead the community because we are 50% of the community. If our voice isn't heard, then this is not a community that is equal. It's a community that's 50% men, but it's 100% run by men. So what can we do? Educate your daughters, make them strong, teach them to go out into the world and do things, accomplish things for not just us, but our community, our society as a whole. And this last slide here is a poem written by Rupi Kaur. I don't know if a lot of you know her, but she's a female poet who's recently published not only one, but 2 New York Times bestseller books. And this poem speaks very strongly to me in that every woman knows that she's had everything she's needed to succeed inside of her from the beginning. It's the world that convinced her that she did not. So don't do that. Stop convincing women that they can't do it. Instead, give them the strength to actually do it. Thank you for your time. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਧੀਰਾਂ ਦਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ। ਇਹਦੇ ਲਈ 2 ਕੁਐਸਚਨ ਨੇ, ਮੈਂ ਇੱਕ ਰਿਕੁਐਸਟ ਕਰੂੰਗਾ ਕਿ 2 ਕੁਐਸਚਨ ਦੀ ਐਡਰੈਸ ਕਰਨ।
The first question is, in Sikhi, is God considered male or female? Well, actually, God is designated both the mother and the father, so essentially God is both. God is not given any male or female pronouns in Guru Granth Sahib Ji. God is sexless, it's unisex, it's an entity composed of both male and female traits. The second question is, why weren't any of the gurus female? So, the gurus just happen to be male. The whole point of guru means a teacher, right? Someone who takes you from dark to light. And this guru is a soul, it's an internal light. And it can be any person. It can be a male, it can be a female. Like we had Guru Harkrishna Ji, who was a child, but he had the light. So essentially, gender has no meaning when you're just looking at the soul. Thank you for your time.
Way down there.
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਪ੍ਰੀਤੀ ਨੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਵਧੀਆ ਇਸ ਚੀਜ਼ ਨੂੰ ਕੰਸੀਵ ਕੀਤਾ। ਰਾਈਟਸ ਬਾਰੇ ਬੜੀ ਵਧੀਆ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਆਪਣੀ ਉਮਰ ਅਤੇ ਐਕਸਪੀਰੀਅੰਸ ਦੇ ਹਿਸਾਬ ਨਾਲ ਮੇਰਾ ਖਿਆਲ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਉੱਪਰਲੇ ਲੈਵਲ 'ਤੇ ਸਪੀਕਰ ਮੰਨ ਲੈਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ। ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ। ਸੋ ਮੈਂ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਕਰਾਂ ਪ੍ਰੀਤੀ ਗਰੇਵਾਲ ਪਲੀਜ਼ ਹੈਵ ਇਟ ਫਲੈਗ ਅਤੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਚੇਅਰਮੈਨ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਗੁਰਨਾਮ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਪੰਮਾ ਅਤੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਪ੍ਰਧਾਨ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਬਲਬੀਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਸੋਹਲ, ਸੋ ਗੁਰਬੀਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਗੇਲ ਉਹ ਪਲੀਜ਼ ਆ ਜਾਣ ਅਤੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਫਲੈਗ ਦੇਣ। ਅਤੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਮੈਂ ਰਿਕਵੈਸਟ ਕਰਾਂ ਮਿਸਟਰ ਮੈਨੀ ਕੰਡੋਜ਼ਾ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਪਲੀਜ਼ ਸਟੇਜ 'ਤੇ ਆ ਜਾਣ ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਆਪਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਨਮਾਨਿਤ ਕਰ ਸਕੀਏ। ਪ੍ਰੀਤੀ ਗਰੇਵਾਲ। बोले सो निहाल। मैं आई रिक्वेस्ट मिस्टर मैनी कार्डोजा प्लीज कम टू द स्टेज।